What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm excited to do a virtual tour for you in Morristown, like a drive-by tour. So if you were gonna fly in from another state, looking to get a feel for the area, you said, hey Kev, you're a realtor, which by the way, feel free to call, text, or email me at any time to help you with that moving process. But if I was gonna invite you to Morristown to meet up, sit in my driver's seat, and I'm gonna show you all the highlights of what Morristown has to offer and all the different sections, this is your video that you wanna watch. So right now, I'm in like the northwest section of Morristown in Burnham Park. The Burnham Park pond is right in front of me here. I just backed out in front of this person. So let's scoot up a little faster. As you can see, we got walking trails around the pond. It's a hilly kind of terrain, which is pretty common in Morristown, especially in this kind of northwestern section of Morristown. Plenty of parking for people who don't live in the neighborhood and can't just walk out of their house into the trail. We've got a little picnic pavilion. There is a playground. You got some older homes here, starting, a lot of turnover in this neighborhood. Some people have renovated. I would say more often than not, they're not renovated. But again, most of the places that I'm showing you today are gonna be kind of walkable to that downtown hub that we'll get to eventually. Again, not a lot of cookie cutter styles that you're gonna see here. A lot of unique homes, which is kind of nice and adds to the charm of the town. A couple of baseball fields, which in the spring, you always see Little League games going on. Town pool over here on the left, which is Morristown. Morris Township has, in my opinion, some better town pool options. We live in Randolph. We actually use the town pool in Morris Township. Pay a pretty penny for it, but kids like it, so it's worth it. All right, next we're gonna be making our way towards the Cutler Park section of Morristown, which is, northeast-ish. So we just did a loop around Burnham Park. If we keep going straight, it brings you right into the heart of downtown Morristown. If I were to go the opposite direction we're driving right now, it brings into downtown Mendham, Chester, and then eventually Long Valley. So this old Route 24 connects a lot of town hubs here. But we're gonna make a left over here onto Mills. We'll pass Alexander Hamilton Elementary School. We got the high school over here on the right, which is like one of the coolest settings for high school football. Brings back a lot of cool memories. Well, kind of cool. Got my butt kicked in most of them, but it's just a cool atmosphere. Let's say that. So if we went right, that brings it towards that entrance of the high school. Well, we'll get back there a little bit later in the video. You're gonna see a lot of like multi-families and single families kind of mixed throughout here. So there's a lot of rentals in Morristown. And just to make this video concise, I'm not going to go through every loop, neighborhood section, but over here on my left, there's more houses that look the same, just kind of up on a hill. Again, it's kind of a hilly area. Cutler Park is going to be more flat, which is where we're going to right now. We actually have some friends who live in the neighborhood that we're going to right now, which is right across the street from us. Cutler Park, we went there on St. Patrick's Day because there's a big St. Patrick's Day parade in Morristown. It's the Morris County St. Patrick's Day Parade. Not lots of things for the kids to do, lots of things for the kids to see. So, we had a little breakfast, walked into town, probably like 15-minute walk into the downtown section from right here, but always a staple event that we go to with the kids every year. All right, so we're gonna do a loop through Cutler Park. Lots of like unique kind of architecture around here. Crossing over Walker right now, which actually the house that we just passed on the left was up for sale a couple years ago. I had a client put an offer in on it, ended up coming in second, but it went way above ask price. It was a cool house. It was fully renovated. Had a detached garage that was also renovated, had a sauna in there, a gym, and that one went for like $904, but that was like 2 years ago. So I would say that was like the most expensive house in the neighborhood at the time. So today, it would only be more expensive. That's just kind of the way the New Jersey market's been for a while. Now this is Speedwell Ave. We're gonna be making a right on Speedwell, going towards that downtown Morristown section. Again, lots of multifamilies, lots of rentals around here. We've got one of my favorite sandwich spots around, which is called Longfellow's. And just a great sub shop. North Jersey, we call them submarine sandwiches. South Jersey, they call them hoagies. But it's a great sub shop. Fresh bread, which is the key ingredient here. All right, so that Longfellow's sandwich shop is over here on the right. I call it like mini Times Square because the road splits right at this building, so it's got an interesting shape to it. You got Marty's Bikes over here on the left, which when I lived in Morristown, I went there pretty frequently for repairs on my bike. You do have a full-time fire department in Morristown versus like a lot of the other kind of towns around here. It's all like volunteer departments. This is like actual full-time employees here. You got the Hyatt building and complex right in front of me. And so it's got a hotel. They're doing a lot of renovations there as well with new restaurants coming in. They're giving it a facelift on the inside. You know, and Morristown is gonna just continue to have this kind of facelift and building up and for years going forward. It's definitely like the most exciting thing happening in Morris County. It's got the train line to New York City. There's a lot of things going for it. So I'd only expect, you know, the home appreciation to continue here, people building up, more people kind of flocking to Morristown, probably getting more crowded as well. Which again, this section what I'm in right now is probably like the heaviest section of traffic on a daily basis during rush hour. Right now, not too bad. But during rush hour, you know, give yourself an extra, 15, 20 minutes to get to where you need to go. But right now, we're going past two big apartment buildings, Madura 44 and Madura 55. The main difference is that 55 has a pool, 44 doesn't. They're managed by the same company. There's not too much different about them, built around the same time. But a lot of my clients from YouTube, they want to kind of get a feel for the area before they actually pull a trigger on purchasing a home. So a lot of them end up in Madura 44 and 55, just to kind of have that year to kind of feel things out. Again, I'm more than happy to help you out with those as well. I have a whole email template already set up, just outlining all the luxury apartments in Morristown, what their amenities are, what their fees are, do they allow pets, do they not? So all that information I can pass along. But high school is over here on the right. You can see all the cars parked in the parking lot. Again, I always tell my clients to make sure you're taking a look at niche.com to make sure that the school systems and they're gonna check the boxes for you. As a realtor, I can't really make those comments just to avoid the illusion of steering people a certain way. But there's a lot of good information online, so I kind of just push people to use that. All right, we're kind of making our way back towards that Burnham Park section. This is Whole Foods. It's a smaller Whole Foods, not the most amazing Whole Foods you ever see, but I have a lot of clients who are very adamant about being close to Whole Foods. So Morristown has that for you. We're gonna be making a left here on Bud Street, kind of going into this Hillside, Hillcrest neighborhood. I actually rented here with my wife before we moved to Randolph. So we'll actually pass that building. But I used to come to this park over here on the left, get some workouts in after work some days. So I'm gonna make a right. We'll actually pass the building that I used to live in. It's actually an old converted schoolhouse that they turned into like 8 units or so. So right over here on the right. Then I'm gonna hop up to Ellsworth just to give you a feel for this other side of the hill. So Burnham Park is right over the crest of this hill. This area is called Hillside, Hillcrest. Elementary school is right beyond that cul-de-sac, which which is the Hillcrest School. You can see we're still consistent with the hills. I'd say the homes in this section are a little bit bigger than the ones on the Burnham Park side of the hill. Probably like a 10-minute walk into town from here. Now we're making our way towards Western Ave, which if I get to this stop sign, I go left, brings me back to the center of Morristown, which is where we're gonna stay because we're doing a Morris Township video, or Morristown video versus Morris Township, but good reason to subscribe because I will be doing a Morris Township video after this same format. But if I go right, that's gonna bring us to the Morris Township entrance of Jockey Hollow Park. So like when I worked here and lived here in Morristown, after work, I would come home, grab a TRX strap, drive in the car, 5 minutes up to the Jockey Hollow, go on a trail in the middle of the woods, find a tree, use the TRX straps and get a little workout in kind of like the peace and quiet of the woods. So that was my favorite part about living in this section of Morristown. If you're into fitness and outdoors and hiking, that might also be something to consider. Going up a really steep hill right now, making our way up towards a little tiny park called Fort Nonsense. There's a little scenic overlook, but in general, it's pretty underwhelming. It's like some walking paths up there, but nothing too crazy. So we're getting there. Back into that downtown Morristown. All right, so now we're kind of pulling up to the courthouse, which is kind of a staple building here in town. Hopefully you don't have to go there ever when you live here for jury duty or for getting in trouble. But I actually had a client from YouTube move into this apartment building over here on the right, 30 Court. But now we're kind of going between the courthouse little corridor here. At night, there's some secret parking spots here, because these spots are reserved for up to a certain time. Sometimes you can get lucky with parking, but in general, like, it's not that hard to find a parking spot in Morristown. It's really a matter of like going one block over and then you'll find a spot. It's not like in Hoboken where, you could circle for 30 minutes and still not find a spot. You might have to walk a little bit further, but you can always find a spot in Morristown. Next, we're gonna make our way towards the green, which essentially like is a little park in the center of like a roundabout type format with a bunch of lights, which I'm sure we'll get stuck at. But, there's tons of restaurants and bars and stores and services, like anything that you could possibly want, like Morristown definitely has. I forgot to point out when we were over, like coming back from that Cutler Park back towards the high school where Madura 44 and 55 is, there's Rago leather repair shop. They repair shoes and bags, and I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of like these old school kind of trades that are hard to find, right in Morristown, in addition to some of the newer stuff. But we're right on the edge of the green here. This is the heart of that St. Patrick's Day parade. And they hold events out here on the green, during the warmer months as well. My favorite burger spot around is over here, the Committed Pig. They also have great breakfast. By DoorDash, Committed Pig every once in a while, if you want to get a craving for it. Roots Agricola is one of our newer favorite restaurants, kind of like a farm to table style menu. UPS store, one of the best UPS stores around, just good customer service in that particular one for whatever reason. Got some churches around here. Like I said, like during rush hour, you're definitely gonna hit traffic here. It's definitely like a high populated area, lots of jobs here, lots of people commuting here every day. So I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, there's traffic. And then 1776 is a newer restaurant, but it's got kind of like a New York City vibe, really cool ambiance in there. Famous chef, and also has indoor Topgolf suite, which makes it unique. And I've had a couple gatherings and parties there, which is fun. And then Century 21, which we just passed, is like this abandoned department store that was there for a long time in Morristown. You got this food truck that's here every single day. A hot dog stand, which is here every single day. Been there for years. And that's the full loop. So next we're gonna be making our way over to a section that I like to call the mansion section. It's like a lot of these like historic mansions scattered throughout. All right, so we're gonna head down to Hart Street. Our office is just down the road here. Anjou Chocolate, great Valentine's Day spot every year for me. I haven't seen any yet, but Morristown's like a training ground for seeing eye dogs. So it's hard to walk around Morristown on any given day in any given weather where there's not a seeing eye dog in training. So it's kind of a cool part about living here. All right. So you can see the style of home starts to change around here. You're gonna have some multifamilies around here as well. They all kind of look this like kind of historic colonial with the porch. We actually lived in an apartment down here as well. At the very end of this street is like this old carriage house that was turned into like 8 or so units. But it's a cool vibe here. Go down Mansion Row before we head over to a different section of Morristown. Assumption School is a private Catholic school. We're gonna go down Miller. This is that Mansion Row I was telling you about. Every once in a while these come up for sale. Nice to see some of the flowers budding here on the trees. It's a sign of warmer weather to come. If you are coming from a warmer environment, you know, New Jersey obviously kind of gets all the seasons. Hasn't snowed too much the last few years. We get snow, but, you know, not as much as I remember as a kid growing up. Thomas Jefferson School. Now we're gonna make our way towards Loyola Jesuit Center, which is a very under the radar place in Morristown. Not many people even know about it. Foote's Pond is another little kind of walking area, place to sit and relax. I've actually, when I lived down here, I used to read books there sometimes after work when I had time. Now I don't really have that life anymore, but the trails connect to the Loyola Jesuit Center and it's open to anyone. It has a kind of like a private vibe to it, which I think people, you know, deters people from going there. But I'll do a little spin through here. They have a beautiful garden, ponds. If you're looking to kind of relax and get away from, you know, a downtown feel, this is a great option for you. And there is like a religious backing to it, hence like the Jesuit name, but you don't have to have any kind of religious affiliation to like come here, and you can even go inside. There's a little library there. Very welcoming people. I've been there, talked to them, but cool spot if you haven't explored it yet in Morristown. The tennis club across the way, a racket club. They play it like when it's snowing out, like it's like freezing cold, and they go do that. So now we're gonna go through a neighborhood called, I call it Ledgewood. It's either Ledgewood. I don't know. I go Ledgewood. Beat me up in the comments if I'm wrong. I don't really care. But I'm gonna give you a little tour through here to get a feel for this neighborhood. And these ones, you got like some contemporary style ranches. Again, I had an offer in for some clients on one coming up. I think it was like 24. But yeah, this one over here. And this one went for almost $1 million. You know, small ranch, kind of updated. Backs up to the Ledgewood Park. But this section of Ledgewood has like these contemporary style ranches. Then there's this townhome community here as well, still has that contemporary style look. But this community also backs up to Route 287. So some of the units are like right up against the wall of 287. So again, that's kind of where I come into play as a realtor to help you get those sights, sounds, smells, all the senses of like what a particular place is before you make the trip out here to, you know, really move forward with a property. So then we're gonna make our way over into a different section of Ledgewood that doesn't look like this contemporary style. You can see the Route 287 wall right in front of me here, so you can see what I'm talking about. Like I said, there is a park with a decent amount of stuff in this neighborhood, so that's, I think, the highlight to me about living in this section of Morristown. It's got a playground, ball fields, there's some tennis courts back there as well. Basketball court. I used to actually, like, when I was in my early 20s, I would train people. I was like a personal trainer for a group of people. I'd run like group fitness classes on the basketball court there. You can see some drone footage. I'll do a little, see someone, looks like some tree workers playing some basketball right now. Don't want to blow their cover here, so we'll get out of here. Playground over there, which has coverage, sun coverage, which I always appreciate with my fair skin. So now we're making our way towards South Street. And we're gonna eventually make our way past Morristown Medical Center, which is a major employer in the area. It's one of the top hospitals in the nation. I actually saved my life. I had a really bad head injury from playing football in high school and got airlifted there, had surgery, the whole shebang. But here I am to live to tell about it. And I actually worked at Atlantic Health, which is the health system that operates the medical center, for a good bit before I ended up making the move to real estate. All right, next we're gonna make our way over to a neighborhood called Washington's Headquarters, which is always a hot one. Very popular neighborhood. So right now we're crossing 287. Get you familiar with the roads around here. But Morristown's a good commuting location because of its proximity to 287, Route 24. So lots of like doctor's offices and facilities along this little corridor here. Morristown Medical Center over here on the left has a very good reputation in the area. There's like a surgical center over here on the right. So if you ever tore your rotator cuff or something, like you might very well be getting your surgery done there. So if I kept going down this road, it'll take you right into downtown Madison, hence the name Madison Ave. That's what we're on right now. Got this old Friendly's that's been here for forever. And this is that like Washington headquarters neighborhood. Very popular of late. Not always updated, but potential opportunities for people who aren't afraid of a little work or have a construction background. So you can kind of get a feel for the spectrum just even on just this road with the size of houses and how different they are. And some are updated, some are not, some are built up, some are not. But yeah, you can see Morristown is definitely not cookie cutter. Yeah, we've covered some decent amount of ground. We're kind of nearing the tail end of this tour here. You can see it's a big area. And then my Morris Township video is covering an even larger area because this one's kind of in the middle. But this is like an interesting road. It's a 2-lane, one-way, 25-mile-an-hour zone, which is like a speed trap. We're gonna make our way down towards the train station. Crossing back over 287 again. Bunch of condos kind of mixed throughout here. So we're coming up on the train station. I'll do a quick loop through there. And then this station will get you to downtown, not downtown, but New York Penn Station in about an hour, a little over an hour. So there's usually plenty of parking here. Now I'm going to work on getting you back towards the last section that we're going to cover in Morristown. But there's like one-ways, cul-de-sacs, so in order to get there, I just wanted to kind of loop you through the train station here to get your bearings there. Then Mesler Auto Body, I would like to shout them out. When I got a new truck like a few years ago, I got this little ding in it and I was crying over nothing. But the guy like fixed the little ding and patched it up with a little extra paint for nothing, no charge at all. But I always remember that because luckily I haven't gotten into an accident. Since then I haven't needed to go to an auto body shop, but I always say if I ever need to, I'm going to Mesler because he was super nice. Oliphant Park. Got some multifamily scattered throughout here. There's a Staples over there to the left, which I go to every so often. Not a lot of Staples around anymore. I think Amazon has kind of ruined their business model. Then I'll take you through one of the most newly kind of changed, renovated sections of Morristown to wrap up the tour. Which looks completely different than it did 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Just kind of feeding into that, Morristown's getting built up more and more. And I only expect that to continue to happen moving forward. But lots of multifamilies in this section. We're kind of making our way back towards this like highly congested area where there's a lot of traffic during rush hour. So I'd say like the worst traffic is on the eastern part of Morristown, particularly the northeast section. All right. Now, this huge building over here that we're coming up on my left was not here 3 years ago. And then this traffic circle was also not here. To be completely honest, I'm so used to driving in it, I like forget what it was before. But this is a new traffic circle. There's been a little bit of a learning curve for the drivers around here with how the circles work, but I'm going over this way. Okay. So this finishes up the tour here. This particular parking lot, I chose to end it because in the summer months, this whole parking lot is converted into a farmer's market on the weekend. So again, you kind of have the best of all worlds in Morristown. You got close proximity to parks, you got great commuting options, you've got all the vendors and, you know, restaurants and bars and stores and service providers that you could think of. You've got that, you know, farm to table option with the farmers market here, where a lot of local farms do that. I got my wife coaches at the CrossFit gym right over here to my left, CrossFit Motown. So if you're moving here, have no friends, I always say that's the quickest way to get some really good friends. And we spend a lot of time with those people. I don't even do CrossFit, but they're people that I enjoy spending time with. So I'll finish up at the Motown sign, And again, remind you, I am a realtor in the state of New Jersey. I would love to be a real estate choice and making the move to the Garden State. So feel free to call, text, or email me at any time. I'm looking forward to helping you out, get a true feel for the area, and find your dream home. So thanks, and I hope you tune in for the next one.